Hi, it's Dave. So yesterday we got word that Volkswagen was changing the name of its US division to Voltswagen, a VOLTS wagon, to show its focus on electric vehicles. So the electric vehicles from VW would get a Volkswagen VOLT badge, while the IC cars would get a VW badge. However, today we got word from VW's headquarters in Germany that all of this was just an early April Fool's prank. Now, this is kind of confusing and it's actually kind of concerning because it all just highlights the problem and the conundrum that VW is in. See, Volkswagen is a company that's in conflict, as are other IC OEM companies. Volkswagen has built their entire business on gas or internal combustion engines, and the entire foundation of the company, their supply chain, their factories, their business model, it's all built on serving the IC customer and the gas customer. The problem with this is, as shown in Clay Christensen's Innovator's Dilemma, and he kind of shows an interesting graph where you'll see that there's two kind of lines here in terms of progress and improvements. This first line is not very steep, and it's progress due to sustaining technologies. And this is the incumbents. The incumbents are just slightly making just improvements, just very minor improvements to whatever product they have. On this other graph that's much steeper, you have the disruptor or the true innovator that's using progress with and going along with disruptive technologies that's allowing them to improve their product at a much quicker rate. So the problem with VW is that for many, many decades, VW has been a company that hasn't been a disruptor or innovator at all. They're a sustainer. They're just taking incremental, tiny, minor improvements, right, to barely make their cars marginally better. Like if you take a car, let's say a VW car now versus 10 years ago versus 20 years ago, there's just minor, very minor improvements. And this is the bread and butter. This is the DNA of a company like VW. However, with Tesla, they're a true innovator. Their DNA is from a completely different place. And now VW is looking at Tesla, is now scared of Tesla, and is threatened by Tesla and wants to change its focus and change the way it is. But how do you change a company that over decades and decades has not been a disruptor or an innovator in any means? And I think that's kind of the problem at its core. Another issue is that Volkswagen gets the vast majority of its sales, of its revenue from IC cars. And for Volkswagen to go all in on, let's say, electric cars, it means that they need to really disrupt or decimate their IC sales, which is going to decimate their company. What's an interesting side story here is early on in Tesla's life, let's say in 2010 or so, I remember that many people actually wanted Elon Musk to do a hybrid car. They wanted the Tesla Model S actually to be a hybrid electric car to run on gas and electric. So you have like an extra electric motor that can give extra range. However, Elon Musk went on to make probably one of the most pivotal decisions in Tesla's history. And that is Elon decided to go all in on electric battery cars because that was the focus. And Elon knew that the hybrid kind of model was just a passing fad, a passing technology. I call it a bridge technology. And that focus has allowed Elon and Tesla really to up their pace of innovation and disruption. Now, on the flip side, these OEMs like VW, they have multiple platforms. For example, they had the IC platform that they continue to need to invest large sums of money to maintain and to try to improve. Then they have their hybrid platforms, which is ultra complex, right? Adding elements of both the IC and battery. And then you have a third platform of being fully battery electric. And to expect a company like VW to even keep pace or even be near, right, a company like Tesla, whose sole focus, right, is to disrupt, right, the whole transportation industry through electric cars. I think it's unrealistic to expect that VW even can keep pace or even get close to Tesla. The problem, another big problem, is that while VW has a problem with focusing on which platform that they really need to go all in, they also have a bigger monster or a bigger problem that's looming, and that is the problem of autonomous driving. You see, autonomous driving is largely a software problem that the largest and most capable tech companies in the world are battling against each other. And Tesla, with their innovators' DNA, with their disruptive kind of focus, they've ended up being probably the a leader, and in my opinion, the sole kind of leader in autonomous driving. And the OEMs, they have a big problem because they're not even close to being a software company or being close to be able to compete with the innovation and pace of a tech company. And first, they had a problem with electric cars and being disrupted, and their cash cow of ICs being disrupted. Now they have a bigger problem that autonomous driving is disrupting human driving. So, in other words, autonomous driving is disrupting the entire transportation industry as we know it. And this is a true headache and a true problem for a company like VW, whose bread and butter is just to sustain, right? Make tiny, marginal, incremental improvements to their products. They don't know what they're really getting into, in my opinion. And in my opinion, I think it's a very far cry. It's a tiny chance, tiny possibility that VW has to really make big headways to compete in the transportation field with a company like Tesla. I'd rather throw some money at a casino or in a casino at a blackjack table, even though I'm not even good at gambling. Anyways, hope this video has been helpful, and we'll see you in the next one.